If you want to get Abyss and you need the perfect expansion to start off with, get Leviathan. Hey folks, thank you for joining me for another Broken Meeple video, and this is a new series that I'm experimenting with. Yeah, I know, I do a lot of experimentation these days, but if I want to keep the channel fresh and on par with everything else that's out there on YouTube, I kind of need to experiment and see what sticks. People come to me a lot and ask me about my favourite games and say, well, how do I expand these games? Is this expansion any good? Are you doing a review for X expansion? Rarely do I want to do a full review for an expansion. I did one for Architects of the West Kingdom Age of Artisans because it was a preview copy. But the problem is, because expansions are only specific to those who have the game, it's not usually justifiable to say I'm going to spend hours and hours doing the recording or the editing, all the special effects and everything just for an expansion. However, this is useful information I feel people need to know about, and so what I'm proposing is a little series where I have the expansion contents in front of me. I tell you about the expansion, I explain what it does, how it changes the game up, and whether you should get it or not. Now, okay, granted, you're probably going to get the expansion because I have it. It's not like I'm saying, oh, this is a rubbish expansion, but I own it anyway. No, but I will at least give you the pros and cons that you should bear in mind with such an expansion. So first off, we're taking a look at Abyss Leviathan. This is, out of the 2 expansions to Abyss, the one you get. No questions asked. Granted, both expansions are great. They're really great. I love them both, and they're both in my copy of Abyss. But if you're only going to get one or the other, or you have to decide, which one do I get first? This one, without a doubt. Here's why. Here's the components that you get in the backs. Not these parts, I'm just using these for decoration. But here is the main thing. You see this track. You probably might remember this if you're from Abyss. This is the old Leviathan track, effectively, or the monster track. Normally when you come across the Leviathan in a previous game, you'd have a token on here, and you decide whether you want to take this bonus when you fight the Leviathan, or let the token drop to the next level. And then if someone else fights the sea creature, you can choose that bonus or let it drop, that bonus, let it drop, and so on. This was the weak element of the original Abyss game though, because you pretty much never saw the thing go down longer than there. There was no point. There aren't enough monster cards in the deck to go with the strategy of pushing your luck to say, oh, I bet if I get it all the way down here, then I'll really want to fight the Leviathan at that point. No, it won't happen. People will just simply take this one and they'll go with it. So it kind of just made for a slightly pointless track, and it was the one weakness in Abyss. I think Abyss, when I got the base game, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought this is a really good game, almost perfect. It's just this track kind of sucks. Well, now you can basically tell this track to get stuffed, because now you have this replacement monster track. Yes, the ultimate Leviathan track. This is a 2-part little piece, and it's basically got numbers down the side to correspond to the die faces that you now get in this game. And what it is, it's all about these Leviathan cards. Sleeves not included, I've just pimped up my copy of Abyss. But these are some of the most gorgeous artwork I've seen in Abyss. I mean, wow, I want these as wallpaper on my PC, as canvas prints on my wall. Just look at the image that's on the screen. It looks gorgeous. And some of these Leviathans look creepy as anything. I mean, wow. I do not want to come across these things if I'm going into the depths. But what you do with these is you now have one of these Leviathans at the start of the game already. And more can come out and fill up other spaces. If you encounter the monster card when you're going through the depths to pick up those allies, then what you do is you have a choice. Fight it or run away. Now, if you choose to fight the Leviathan, you basically have a wound token that is tracked on here. And some of these Leviathans have got like 1, 2, maybe even 3 wounds. And a defense value. You roll 1 dice, get that right. You roll 1 dice and add the value of an ally that you wish to commit to the fight. So let's say I've got this 2 green here. If I commit this green 2, then I roll a die, a 4, add 2, my combat value is 6. You are trying to exceed the value on these Leviathans, equal or exceed. And by doing so, you drop it down a wound, you get some bonus tokens, which could be the point tokens from the original game, or they could be these new tokens, which have things like bonus pearls, bonus keys, even just bonus cards from the council section. They're pretty nifty bonuses, and not to be underestimated when in terms of thinking, well, I better get points because that's how you win the game. But yeah, those bonuses are really good and can get you out of a pickle. They can accelerate your game quite nicely. If you are able to take out a Leviathan entirely, like you basically do the killing blow, then you also get the Leviathan as basically a keepsake, but you now have this Scourge trophy here, the Scourge of the Depths, basically think Aquaman. With this, you get a bonus 5 points at the end of the game, providing you have slayed the most Leviathan. So it's like another path to victory, or another, maybe not path to victory, but another way of getting points, just to basically kill the odd Leviathan or two, do better than the other players at it, and then you can have this nice token for 5 extra points. And like I say, it's a cool looking miniature, considering all it is basically a point token. However, there is a catch. You can only fight Leviathans if it's got a matching race on it. Now, all of them have got the red crabs as a matching race because crabs are the fighters. That kind of makes sense. But they vary then between the pink jellyfish, the yellow seahorses, the blue, what were the blue again? Blue octopuses and that sort of thing. So it varies, but you can always fight one with a warrior crab, but otherwise it kind of depends. And obviously you need the allies for it. If you choose to be a sissy and run away, how dare you run away from a fight, then you've got to roll the dice, hope you don't match the same number as where it is on the board, and if that's okay, then you run away, no problem. But if you do match the number, then you suffer some negatives, like some minus victory point health tokens, which you can't get rid of. Not good to have too many of those in this game, considering there's only so many points in it. But you could also potentially lose some pearls and possibly even a lord if you're not careful. So run away at your own peril. It's you kind of want to have some preparation in case you come across the monster, or just hope that the dice don't phase you. Now, of course, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, how am I going to fight these with my crummy little allies? Well, the game gives you a bunch of extra allies to use, and there's several for each colour, so there's equal amounts. But what these do is that there's effectively 2 new effects on these allies. So it kind of makes them a little bit worth more in terms of pearls if people want to buy them or not off you. You have got, firstly, a ally that gives you the ability to pump up the value of the combat by pearls after you roll the die. So you can basically kind of go, right, well, let's see, I'll commit this 1 green, roll the die, I got a 3, that's 4. Oh, I need a defense value of 7. Well, hang on a minute, I've got some spare pearls here. All right then, 1, 2, 3, boom, you get rid of it. So it makes it, you can kind of, I don't know, ask me how giving it pearls suddenly makes it more better in combat. Maybe it's like you give it a better weapon for a better cost. Maybe that's the idea. But these ones are pretty cool. But then the best ones to get are the ones with 2 dice on them. These ones allow you to roll, well, have a guess, 2 dice. So I commit this 4 red that I'm holding in my hand, roll 2 dice, 10 and 4, 14. I don't think any Leviathan even required me to do worse than a 10, to be honest, but the thing with that is you might be thinking, well, that's a wasted effort. I mean, that's way too much power. Some of them have got multiple wounds, and if you take it down 1 wound, you can use the excess on your roll to take it down another wound. So you could potentially knock it down 2 or 3 wounds, kill the Leviathan outright if you roll really high. So there is an incentive to use powerful cards every now and again. The only thing is, once you use it, it's gone. The ally has committed itself, it's died heroically in battle. So you might be thinking, well, this is a 4 red, it could really get me a good Leviathan, but I was going to use that 4 red to get that lord over there. I'm not sure I really want to do it. It's another decision you gotta make. And that's kind of predominantly what this expansion includes. It doesn't really include much else on top of that. It essentially gives you a few extra lords that you can use that you mix with the deck, and you've got these allies, but for the most part the expansion pretty much solely is this track with these Leviathans. So it's a relatively small addition that you can teach when you play the game with new players, but it is a mandatory include. It really is, because that track that I chucked away over there and I'm not going to reach it, no way, I can't reach it, it's not anywhere near as good as this new track. This one completely replaces it. You don't have to teach any of that useless stuff there, you just go straight into this. And it's not a difficult thing to teach, it's basically a case of, look, there's a combat value, commit an ally, roll a die, try and beat it. If you get the most, get some points. Whatever rewards you get, choose some tokens. And you can mix and match these tokens. So you could decide, well, let's see, I get 3 tokens for taking down that Leviathan. I'll take a 1 point token from a stack and 2 of the bonus ones from another stack, because they're labeled differently. So you can pick and choose which ones you want. And as I say, it's good to get points. It's also good to get the bonuses. And that's pretty much the crux of it. It replaces the one weak aspect that Abyss had, and gives us a really cool new addition with some fantastic artwork cards, a new way to get some points and bonuses, and basically took Abyss from a 9 to a 10. I mean, what did I put it on my top 100? I think that was my number 2 game. I absolutely adore Abyss. I loved it before I even had any expansion for the game. This certified it as one of my favorites. If you want to get Abyss and you need the perfect expansion to start off with, get Leviathan. That's not to say that Kraken isn't a good expansion, but we'll get to that in another video. So that's my video on the Abyss Leviathan expansion. Did you like what you see and was it useful information for you? Then let me know in the comments, give me some feedback, and also let me know what expansions you'd like to see feature on this channel. I've got a few in mind, such as the Monsters and Minions expansion for Roleplayer, the Terra Incognita expansion for A New Dawn. I've already done an expansion review of Age of Artisans, you can check that out on the channel, but I'd like to know what expansions in my collection you'd like to know more about. Remember, I'm only concerned with expansions that add fundamental new mechanics to the game and don't just simply bolster up what's already there. They've got to make enough of a difference to change the nature of the game rather than just simply give you more variety. So take care everyone, I'm Luke Hector, you've been watching The Broken Meeple, and remember, it's only a game.